into match 1.
Yeah, this will be the first game of tonight. VENDETTA going up against the Simpsons in a best of 5. Very excited to see how this plays out, Wheezy.
Yes, just looking at the compositions, you're looking at Shiki running over there on the lid for the early game. There we go with Thea over on the Cho as well. Having the mobility, being able to harass and also get to those backlines as the roam is going to be pivotal. But looking at the XP lane, like you said, it's Esmeralda against a Dairoth. On paper, Dairoth wins. But also, if VENDETTA does have the advantage in terms of Lord, in terms of objectives, in terms of the turtle, you can get that Dreadnought armor and have an easier game. But a clash on the mid side.
Yeah, Theo already being aggressive, trying to get the vision. One thing I can say, though, is Damien was doing the same thing. So I think it's going to kind of come down to who breaks the tempo first, who's forced to go back and help, and who loses that advantage of trying to get vision with their roamers. I love the wall to stop Theo and Shiki there and get Damien a little bit ahead on the side to this gold lane.
Now, I will say, in terms of winning conditions, you're looking at the gold lane. You're seeing the Claude stacked up against a carry, both very late-game marksmen. So it's going to be important for both teams to protect the marksman. Whichever one falls first may be a huge advantage to the other side. But a fight possibly going in the mid lane for some clearage. Just a little bit of clearing from both sides. Both teams just playing a little bit of the safer route, not being too aggressive and going for those objectives. I just have to say, I like the way it's going, but in terms of late game... you have a carry versus a Clad. Who do you see having the easier time, you know, taking out the enemy, T-Rex?
Oh, wait a second, because someone just gets taken out. Promise goes down. First blood going to VENDETTA. VENDETTA really honing in on this EXP lane, knowing that Promise with that should have the early game, but with that death, Galaxy could start getting ahead here now. With the carry versus the Claude, I think the Claude's going to do a little better when it comes to these big 5-man clashes. Up in the early game, Claude may have the advantage here, but a lot of it's going to come down to mechanics right now. But we are looking at the Lord fight. Damien does come in. Pogue, he picks it up. A nice knockup from Theo away. The Dragon lands onto Damien. Damien in bad spot, should be able to get away, but getting brought down low. The Glooms get him slowed down a bit, but Nate is here to help. Fallen misses that strike on Ashiki. He uses the black shoes to get out of the way. No kills on the board, but the Lord does go to the side of VENDETTA there.
You do see a little bit of that blazing duet from Yuna fighting over in the gold lane, but a solid start for VENDETTA. Taking first blood, giving Esmeralda a slight advantage over there on the Dairoth, the direct counter for her, and then also able to secure the objective, taking that turtle, trying to start a potential snowball. Not too much of a lead from either side, playing it safe. We do see a slight advantage in terms of gold, leaning to the side of VENDETTA. They're currently up by about 500 gold, not too much, and I like the way this is going. Normally with these higher caliber of teams, you are going to see them play the safer route. But speaking of the safer route, the bottom lane, we do see Dairoth falling to Esmeralda with the help of Karina for that gank. And this just looking really solid for Esme in the AXP lane.
Yeah, and that's just rough for the Simpsons. They need to find an answer somewhere on the map here, because if they're not going to go help Promise, then they need to make sure they're getting some ganks in the top lane or answering back onto a tower, because right now Pokey's just hanging out down in the XP lane every chance he gets, and it's in a 2v1 against Promise, something he just can't handle. But wait a second, here could be the answer. Theo taking a bit of damage, able to G-Kondo out of that though. Now Damien once again in a bad spot. Gloom's landing down. Cold World is here. Yin Yang overturns. Shiki goes down. Finally, Simpsons pick up something, trying to even the playing field. Gold actually in the lead of the Simpsons now.
Now you do see Clock of Destiny being picked up over there by Nate to go ahead and give some advantage. It's more of that time-dependent item, and locking that in early will be a huge advantage. But speaking of advantages, the clash in the bottom lane by Promise.
Now, that is the reason why they've been going down there, because even with him 2 deaths, he can sometimes get the better on that Esmeralda Wheezy.
Yeah, it's just a very solid game. But the way the Dragon over in the mid lane.
And they're brawling it out. Theo, though, maybe going too deep. Cold World onto him, trying to get the kill. Dashes in, picks it up, throws the thumbs up just to seal the deal. It's 2-2, ladies and gentlemen. We have a game. Galaxy trying to come in with the Fallen Star Moon. We cannot secure it. Turtle now up. Fallen and Damien are here, but Shiki and Galaxy also want a piece. Pogi has not arrived yet. He's coming from the backside, from that EXP lane. Galaxy trying to zone them away. Promise comes in. Yin Yang overturn, catches nothing, but Galaxy goes down. A nice wild charge. Fallen backs him up. Pogi down about 25%. Promise picks it up. Make that a double for Promise. Even though he's taken 2 deaths, he's back on the field and he wants more. Black Boots does come in. Way the Dragon onto Promise. Promise taking a bit of damage. Needs to try to get out of here. Dashes through the wall. Theo wants to chase him down, but Nate will not let it happen. Fallen now picks up the Turtle, and the Simpsons start to take a lead in this match, Wheezy.
What a turnaround. Promise, the fighter who was down 0-2 against Esmeralda with that Karina Pogi on the gank. But on the top lane, you do see Blazing Duet going down.
That is rough, Wheezy. That is rough.
Yeah, a very rough clash indeed. But on the bottom lane, you gotta give it over to Promise right now on the Dairoth, helping his team secure that turtle, giving them the additional gold as well. A huge advantage, especially when you're down. And I think that's one of the good things about the Dairoth on the Esmeralda is even when he has that harder time, he's just meant to go against her. He's meant to have the advantage, even when it looks like there is a deficit. Both teams still looking pretty solid, 3-4 right now in terms of gold. It is leaning in the favor of the Simpsons. A slight turnaround, especially when we thought we were going to see a potential snowball. Esmeralda doing what Esme is good at, cutting the lane, starting to provide opportunity for your team. But speaking of opportunity, you do see a potential clash with the 3-stack of Vendetta on the top side.
Yeah, Theo's constantly searching, looking for something, but recently it seems like when he goes in, he's taking a lot of damage. So he needs to be a bit more meticulous about how he gets these picks. Now, one thing I can say about the Simpsons, we're at 6.5 minutes. Fallen going to start hitting that power spike, going to start doing a lot of damage along with Promise. Galaxy, it's going to be a while until Galaxy can put up a fight against Promise. Galaxy just needs to make sure they don't take a death. Wait a second, Way the Dragon does land on a Fallen there into the tower. Galaxy picks up the kill, trying to find something on a Nate. Nate just wants to clear this wave and move on with his day. But this is a close game. The Simpsons are holding the lead on the goal steadily though, but Vendetta not letting it get too out of reach.
Yeah, this game can still go either way, but we have to pay attention to the top side. Like we said, both teams have that late game marksman. They have the carry. They have the Claude. Speaking of the gold lane, the first tower has fallen, giving a slight advantage over to the side of Cold World.
Yeah, I mean, with that, Cold World can now rotate a bit more to this mid lane, can be a bit more involved in these team fights, definitely give the Simpsons a big advantage as we move through this mid game. Turtle now up, right? Damien trying to zone away. Theo's looking for something, gets away the Dragon. Nate able to get away though. Damien does find Theo though, and Theo goes down. Galaxy with the Fallen Star Moon does not do enough damage, just trying to zone away Nate. Fallen though doesn't want to give up this turtle. Pogi hiding in the bush right now, waiting for the retry battle. Galaxy goes down to Promise though. Damien is trying to get away, but a big dive in with the Blazing Duet. Cannot connect. Damien able to get away safely. Now Pogi is all alone. Shiki as well. That is a 4-man wipe for Vendetta. This turtle will go to the side of the Simpsons along with a lot of gold and a lot of kills, Wheezy.
What a play. The Simpsons paving their way, fighting for the remaining 2 spots of top 4 North America. But the way the Dragon over there on carry.
Yeah, but the damage still maybe not enough. Theo continues to go in. Yin Yang overturn connects. Theo goes down. And this is the problem, I think, with the Cho recently. It's not as tanky. There's a lot more burst heroes, and you got to be careful when you go in there because they're waiting for you. They want you to use that Way of the Dragon so that Nate can pick you up and burst you down.
Now, just looking at the gold, the Simpsons had in the early game, Vendetta was looking really nice, but the Simpsons able to turn it around. Just looking at the gold of 5,000 gold lean, they are starting to try and form up that snowball carry, having a really solid game. 4-1. Dominating as the marksman over Yuna. Like we said, winning conditions is crucial. You know you have these late game marksmen. You have to protect them. Vendetta losing the first tower within the first 5 minutes of match 1 is a very hard time for the gold lane, and that's just the advantage the Simpsons need, and they are capitalizing.
Yeah, and with these deaths on Theo as well, it's going to take him a bit longer. He's already got the roamer status on, so his gold builds up slowly, but now he's even weaker. He's not able to get those big tank items in, so he has to play it even safer, right? Because he's now pretty behind. Damien, on the other hand, hasn't died once. He's just been getting gold steadily for the past 9.5 minutes through that roam passive, so he's going to be able to be a front line for his team and create space for Nate. Not only that, Cold World doing a great job at just finding position on this carry, not being too aggressive, but also picking up things when he needs to. VENDETTA definitely not out of the game, though. It is a 5K gold lead. Theo with a nice way the dragon on to Damien. Damien forced to use a wild charge as a getaway, but Shiki doesn't want to let it happen. Pops that flicker along with the wall and able to walk away. VENDETTA are grasping at straws and just finding air right now.
Now we take a look at the bottom lane, same scenario. We lost the bottom tower for VENDETTA. It's not looking too good in terms of the map. In terms of objectives as well, the Simpsons able to secure these turtles, able to increase the kill lead, increasing the gold by 5,000. Speaking of objectives, Lord has spawned in. Good zone is over there for the side of the Simpsons. The question is, how will VENDETTA contest? Are they going to allow this objective to go to the favor of the Simpsons? And it does. You see Fallen able to secure it with the Paquito with no problem. And these are the things that's going to make it a very hard for VENDETTA to come online, especially for Claude, especially for that marksman, not having the advantage of being able to get that gold to have the late game. These are late game marksmen, but if you don't have the right conditions met, you have a longer delay until he can come online and provide the damage his team will need.
I mean, luckily Yuna hasn't taken a death though, right? So that is kind of a saving grace for VENDETTA here. Yuna's not exactly behind, it's just the rest of his team is. So Yuna could still end up being the carry. They do still have some nice set potential. Nice G-Con dose. Speaking of set potential, Theo tries to do it, but Fallen stops in his track. Nate picks up the kill. Theo goes down, and now we have a bloodbath. Yuna uses the blazing weapon. It's forced to try to get away. Fallen goes down. 2 down on the side of Simpsons, but Cold World's here to pick up where they left off. Shiki taking a lot of damage. Doesn't have the black shoes. Not today. It's a 2-for-2 trade on the map, and the Simpsons still have the Lord. Crashing in. Cold World here to help back up the Lord. Melting down onto Galaxy, but maybe came in a little too heavy. 2 members are there, and down goes Cold World. Simpsons now picking up some tower elsewhere on the map, still trying to get some sort of gain out of this Lord push.
Man, what a play, but looking over there on Cold World, being a little too aggressive, especially as that marksman pushing into the top lane without no backup. Not sure if that was really the right move, and that will be a death over on his side. The marksman down for the side of the Simpsons, but they were able to secure that mid tower. The mid tower has fallen, leaving only the inner turret in the mid lane, and then down to the inhibitors for VENDETTA. But look at the map. The Simpsons have a lot of insurance. They have every single tower. No pressure from the side of VENDETTA going into the 12-minute mark of match 1.
Yeah, and just if you guys are seeing, there is a quick code showing up on screen. Make sure you tag a friend on Facebook or type hashtag NACT fall season in the NA esports Discord main chat, and you will be sent a unique gift code. Now back to the game, Wheezy. Like, it's still a 5K gold lead, but VENDETTA is definitely looking for something. And what we just saw, Simpsons can't get too trigger happy. If they make any mistakes, VENDETTA is a team to capitalize on that.
Now, I do like the way the Simpsons has been rotating, you know, prioritizing these objectives pretty much without any contest, and that all comes down to what do we need to focus. They helped the gold lane. They were able to also help over on the EXP lane as well, securing those towers, but a clash over in the mid lane.
Yeah, nice clash. Pokey actually finds Fallen this time. Fallen starting to take a bit too much damage. Cold World chipping away, though. A nice wall comes out to zone them, keep them at bay. They clear the wave, and Simpsons only lose a member there. 16 seconds until the Lord comes up here, Wheezy.
Now, you do see Pogi over there on the Karina. A slight advantage, especially with Cold World on that carry to try and go in and take him out. Being able to deflect, you know, those marksmen, especially when they are having a good start. But the clash over on the Lord.
Blazing Red does come in. Damien goes down. Promise trying to do something, but Pogi is on a roll. 4 members down in a matter of seconds. Make that possibly 5. Galaxy tries to chase down, but Cold World gets away. But now with Lord up, VENDETTA could be taking this game. Still at a slight deficit in gold, but that is about to change, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I will say Pogi did fall in that clash. As they were contesting for that Lord, you did see the fight go on. A very solid look for the side of Yuna over there, using that Blazing Duet, and they are going in for that fight, chasing Cold World, forcing him to retreat. But then you see the tower take out the jungler for VENDETTA.
I actually missed that. I missed that right there. He's running away, so I'm watching Cold World. I didn't even see the tower shot, so happy for the replay. But this buys Simpsons a little bit of time, right? No retry on the field. And now VENDETTA doesn't want to risk it to go for that Lord, so we're going to still see a little bit of a contest here.
Now, speaking of good tests, you do see on the bottom lane, Promise trying to defend against Galaxy, and he is able to secure that first tower in the XP lane. Now, we see a little bit of pushback from Vendetta. Not an early start, looking in their favor, but going into the late game, it's looking a lot better. It seems like they have regained their focus. They're starting to apply a little bit of pressure. They're making sure to be in the right moments for the team clashes and not being too over-aggressive. And this is what the Simpsons is going to have to watch out for if they do want to take game one. How are you going to answer? You're allowing them to get that momentum back, and the fight over there for the Lord may be possibly going on as both teams are prepping for this Lord.
Most definitely, Galaxy searching has used that utility though with the Falling Starman. While this is happening, Promise on the boss side clearing out this inhibitor, doing some nice macro. Galaxy tries to do something, but Promise already got what he came for, and he's ready for the 1v1. And on this, Falling gonna start on this Lord. Promise almost takes out Galaxy. He needs to start moving up. The rest of the team, they got this. Fallen knows your eyes are elsewhere. Theo though, looking for something still, maybe trying to get away with the dragon onto someone. He does have that ready to go, and here it is, does land onto Fallen. Pogi now maybe wants to move in for the Retry Steal, hasn't quite made the move yet. Damien also here, but Promise has finally showed up to fight. Fallen takes the Lord. Blazing Duet though into the backside, takes out Nate. Fallen on the run because Galaxy's gonna pick that up as well, but still it's a 3 for 2 because members of Vendetta are falling. Promise picking up kills left and right. Lord now crashing. Just when we think Vendetta's coming back, the Simpsons answer with a plan of their own.
What a battle, a bloodbath over on the Luminous Lord, but it does go into the favor of the Simpsons. But a clash on Galaxy trying to escape using the Fallen Star Moon as the saving grace. Man, Dairoth, Promise just dominating on the XP lane, and this is what you kind of see when you're paired up against the Esmeralda.
Yeah, definitely something you see. Now Promise trying to do something here. Does take a bit of damage. You know, with the Blaze Duet, melting everyone down. Can he get the finish, though? No. Immortality comes. Theo gets that way of the dragon onto Damien, though. Damien, Immortality pops, but the team is going to be on him. There's no escape for him today. Damien will go down, but Lord is on the base. No one here to back it up. Gets a bit of chit damage, but not too much. 2 inhibitors fall, though, so this is huge for the Simpsons.
What a play. It looks like the Simpsons trying to go for the finish, but not able to pull it off. I gotta say, it's looking pretty risky for both sides. Yeah, you got a little bit of insurance for the Simpsons, having those inner turrets to defend, and then behind those, the inhibitors. Speaking of turrets, Vendetta hanging on by a thread on that mid inhibitor turret. Not looking too good, but this is gonna boil down to how the clashes go on, how the teams prioritize their objectives for the roam. Make sure you guys are trying to get to that back line, you know, trying to take out the damage dealers. We know that there's a carry on the side of the Simpsons. We know that there's Yuna over there on the Clot. These heroes capitalize when it comes to the 17-minute mark, the late game.
Oh, this is bad. Big collapse onto the top side. Cold World and Promise are in trouble. Abysm Strike comes out, picks up Theo, but Promise will go down here. Cold World may be next. Yes, he is. It's a 2-for-1 trade in a nice gank for the side of Vendetta there. Now, Vendetta still in this game. Only 1,000 gold behind. That is not a lot, right? They still have a chance. Yes, they've lost some inhibitors, and the Simpsons could probably survive if they lose Lord, they could survive a push. This could go pretty late now, but Vendetta definitely not out of this game just yet.
Yeah, you do see it neck and neck, 16-16, and only 1,000 gold difference. Both teams hanging in there, and this is what we want to see. We don't like to watch one-sided matches, and both teams are given on a show. Ladies and gentlemen, place your votes. Which team do you see moving on for the top 2? Which team will take match 1? It's looking very, very close, but you do see a hard push from the side of Vendetta to try and close in on these lanes and even out the map.
Yeah, they got to find a way to get to Yuna. They got to do something about it. The man is 4-0-6, just on fire, doing a lot of damage. We saw him messing with Damien, who's the tankiest person on the side of the Simpsons, and he's got that DHS build in, and he is just melting him down. And not only that, we've seen it already. He hits the Blazing Duet, and he's bringing several members down. So either Fallen, Promise, or Nate, I think really need to, someone needs to find the angle on him. Someone needs to catch him off guard, try to get that ambush play, something along that lines, because with him on the field, it is not going to be an easy team fight.
Exactly, and I think it's really going to go into protect the marksman. Whichever marksman, late game marksman lives for these clashes will have the huge advantage. You do see a little bit of the Bism strike not connecting over on the top lane, but a possible clash on the Lord as both teams are prepping to take this enhanced Lord. This 19-minute mark, Lord, a huge objective, which can be a game changer.
Yeah, this could be the deciding factor, right? One big team fight, one big wipeout at this point, a team could just run it down, right? So both teams need to be careful, and you know Vendetta's at a bit on the back end just because of those inhibitors. We do see Esmeralda Galaxy forced to sit in that top lane because those Mega Minions are always coming. Now, the Simpsons gonna start jockeying for this position a little bit. They do start attacking. Shiki goes down to the backside. A nice pickup from NACT there. That'll definitely be helpful in this. It is now a 5v4, and Esmeralda is a little late to the party. Theo looking for something. Dies before he can pop the way of the dragon. Immortality comes out, but Theo still goes down. Cold World looking for something else. Trying to find it, not quite able to connect. Finally, Poggy does get melted down. Immortality comes up, but it's still not enough. That is huge. Lord to the side of the Simpsons in a 3-man wipe. Can they defend this, Wheezy?
You do see Yuna picking up the immortality, prepping for this clash. Now, I gotta give it to Promise. You've seen him in the top side, fighting against the Esmeralda while Lord was in play. He was clearing that lane, forcing them to be down a player for those clashes, and then jumping in 45-5. But the clash for the tower.
Big wild charge on a Yuna. They take him down, and the base goes down as well. They don't need a Lord. They cleaned it out before it got there. Simpsons take game 1, Wheezy.
Man, what a finish.